Good day, fellow bettors. Thank you for joining me for another video for your English Premier League betting tips and predictions. Today, I will be sharing with you my predictions and betting tips on the match result, correct scoreline prediction, which you can use in turn to determine the number of goals expected in a particular game. So you can bet whether it's over or under 2.5 or 1.5. Yeah, like that. Also, I'll be sharing with you tips on the handicap system, and also I'll be sharing with you potential anytime goal scorers where the odds are available. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. We're gonna start here on Saturday all the way through to Wednesday. Have a double game week here, and so therefore we're gonna go here on Saturday, and we're gonna start with Bournemouth versus Liverpool. And for Bournemouth versus Liverpool, I'm expecting this one to be a challenging one. It's a bit lopsided the last 5 games. Liverpool have won all 5, but Liverpool are taking their time finding a way back to form. And so I think we're going to have a draw in this game, to be honest with you. So I'm going for a draw between Liverpool and Bournemouth. Based on where Bournemouth is, I'm expecting this game to end in a draw. So this game should be a draw for me. Both teams to score. In terms of a correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we're going to have a 2-all draw here. In terms of the anytime goal scorers, we're going to start with Bournemouth, and for Bournemouth, you have Philip Billing, you have Jadon Anthony, and Dominic Solanke, and also Jefferson Lerma. I think those are the guys, the main guys. Kiefer Moore, depending on the amount of time he gets on the pitch, those are the main guys who could come on and score for you in this particular game, right? For Bournemouth, that is. Now for Liverpool, you have the usual suspects. You have Gakpo, you have Darwin Núñez, you have Roberto Firmino. He does better at home. Based on stat, that is, and Mohamed Salah, also Diego Jota is also someone you have to look for as well. So any of those guys could pop up and score for you. Trent Alexander-Arnold haven't scored a goal in ages, so he could surprise us too. But for me, my anytime goal scorer is going to be Mohamed Salah. Salah at $2.10. For the most part, I'm going to take him to score. And so therefore, let's just give you a recap of my predictions here for Bournemouth versus Liverpool. I'm expecting this game to end in a draw at $4.75. That's the odds if it ends in a draw. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw here between Bournemouth and Liverpool, and that's $13 in terms of the odds. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Mohamed Salah at $2.10. Alright, so those are my predictions for Bournemouth versus Liverpool, and now we're going to jump on over to Everton versus Brentford. And for Everton versus Brentford, Everton they've had a new coach for the last 3 games, I think, and so change of intentions, change of how they play, and so therefore Brentford a very unpredictable team somewhat, and so therefore Everton being at home, they have to be very mindful of Brentford here. But for this game, I go ahead and say I'm going to expect Everton to bounce back here. So for me, it's either Everton to win or a draw. So I'm going to go take Everton to win, and I'll say both teams to score. Everton had one of the best defense early in the start of the season, but they're falling off, and so therefore I wouldn't be surprised if they shut out Brentford tomorrow though. So I'm going to go with Everton to win and both teams to score, and I'll say I take a double chance here where I say either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Everton wins this one 2-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and I'll take a draw based on my predicted scoreline. Everton winning by a goal being the basis. Anytime goal scorer for this particular game, I'm going to go. Let's go with the Everton players first. For Everton, you have Dominic Solanke if he's fit and ready, as well as Neil Maupay and Dwight McNeil. You have to look out for him as well. Alex Iwobi, also Abdoulaye Doucouré, usually a scorer, doesn't score very often. You have to look out for him as well too. In terms of players in the defense who could pop up and score for you, have to look out Connor Cody and James Tarkowski. Those guys could come up and score for you as well. In terms of Brentford, the anytime goal scorers are Ivan Toney, as well as Johan Wissa and Brian Mbeumo, as well as Joshua Da Silva, who was a super sub early in the season. In terms of the defense, you have the guys who could pop up and score is Ben Mee. He's the highest scoring defender in terms of the season so far. But for me, my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Ivan Toney based on his production for the season. At $2.30, I'm not going to pass that up, so I'm going to take Ivan Toney to be my anytime goal scorer here. Now for a recap for Everton versus Brentford, I'm expecting Everton to win this game at $2.70. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. And in terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-1 victory here for Everton over Brentford, and that's $10 in terms of the odds. Now on the handicap side of the football, I go ahead and take a draw here, basis being Everton winning by a goal. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go ahead and say we should have Ivan Toney scoring in this game at any given point. Alright, so those are my predictions for this particular game. Now we're going to move on over to our next game, and the next game will be Leeds United versus Brighton. And for Leeds United versus Brighton, now this is an interesting one. Brighton, a bit unpredictable somewhat, but you never know. Leeds are on the hunt, and so therefore Brighton have to be very careful. It's a strong possibility that Leeds could nip them at Leeds, and so therefore I am looking out for this one. And so therefore, as it relates to this particular game, I am saying here we should have a draw here between Leeds and Brighton, both teams to score as well. In terms of double chance, not a double chance, in terms of the correct score, I'm going to go with a draw here. I'm going with a 2-all draw. Handicap system don't have a bet there, so we're going to jump straight into the anytime goal scorers, and the anytime goal scorers will be for Leeds first. We are going through Leeds. You have Somerville, you have to look out for him too. Bamford is injured. Sinistra, depending on how much time he gets, he can score for you. He's popped up and scored a couple before. Wilfred Ganacho is someone you have to look out for, as well as Jack Harrison and also Brennan Aronson. Alright, Sam Greenwood, he could score for you as well, so you have to look out for him as well too. Now for Brighton, the persons that you have to look out for is Matuma. He's in really good scoring form. Danny Welbeck as well. He's popping up and taking his goals, as well as Alexis McAllister. You have to look out for him as well. Pascal Gross started the season well, scored a couple. So you have to look out for him as well as Jeremy Sarmiento and Sulimarsh. But for me, my anytime goal scorer for this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Wilfried Garnacho. Alright, so Wilfried to score for me at any given point in this game. So recapping recapping predictions here for Leeds versus Brighton. I'm expecting this game to end in a draw. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw between Leeds and Brighton, and that's $13 in terms of the odds. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to say here we should have Wilfried Garnacho scoring at any given point in this particular game, and that's $5.25 if he does score in this game coming here on Saturday. Alright, and that's it for Leeds versus Brighton. Now we're going to move on over to Leicester City versus Chelsea. Chelsea had a really important win earlier this week in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund. That should give them some confidence. They have a world of talent there at Chelsea, but they seem to can't find a way to put it together. Alright, so for Leicester City versus Chelsea, I'm expecting here this one to be an interesting one. Leicester City are on the hunt too, and so therefore it's going to be this one is anybody's game, to be honest with you. Anybody's game if all Leicester City players are fit and ready, Maddison and the others, then I think it's a strong possibility that Leicester City could surprise Chelsea here based on Chelsea's current form. Alright, so for me, I'm going to go with Leicester City to win here. Usually, some of the time, a little bit difficult to beat at home, hence the reason why I'm leaning towards Leicester City. So Leicester City to win this game here against Chelsea. Both teams to score. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Leicester City wins this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Leicester City to win by a goal here on the handicap system. In terms of the anytime goal scorers, now we're going to go with Leicester City first. You're going to go through if Maddison is available, you should consider him as well as Iheanacho, as well as Jamie Vardy. He might get maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. Harvey Barnes as well. You have to look out for Harvey Barnes. Tete, the Brazilian, he needs to sharpen his scoring boots, but he might get some opportunities, so you have to look out for him too, as someone who could score at any given point. As well as Dewsbury Hall, doesn't score much, but he's in and around the box very often. Alright, so for Chelsea now, you have Raheem Sterling, you have Kai Havertz, who the coach seems to favor a lot, as well as João Felix, and also you have Madrid, if he please. That is Hakim Ziyech usually provide a score from time to time. If he please, he could score for you as well as Conor Gallagher, and Enzo Fernandez could score for you as well. If he kicks at goal, that is, he has a good long range shot. But for me, let's just cut the story short. I'm gonna take my anytime goal scorer to be Madison. My anytime goal scorer should be James Madison, and if Leicester City is going to win here, I do believe that James Madison is going to have to score or provide a number of these goals. Alright, so recap for Leicester City versus Chelsea. I'm expecting Leicester City to win this one at $3.75. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. And in terms of my predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have here a 3-1 victory for Leicester City over Chelsea. And that's $26 if that should happen in terms of the odds. Really lovely odds if you ask me. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Leicester City to win this one by a goal, and that's $8.50 if that does happen. Alright. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm saying we should anytime goal score should be James Madison, and that's $3.30. Alright, so now we're going to move on over to our next game, and our next game will be let's just hold on in the force. Yeah, yes. No, it's not already for us. So our next game should be Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. And so for this particular game, Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest, I'm expecting Tottenham to win this one. They lost the last game against Wolves. That was kind of expected. They're not doing very well away from home. So Tottenham to win here. Both teams to score. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Tottenham wins this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Tottenham to win this one by a goal on the handicap system, that is. And in terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go to Tottenham players first on the anytime goal score. We're going to have here now, we have Harry Kane, one of the first ones. He's been scoring a lot of goals, scored in most of the games so far. And you have as well as Richarlison, if he plays it, and he's someone I could consider. Son Heung-min might come off the bench, and whenever he comes off the bench this season, he tends to do better, so he might score as well as Kulusevski and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Have to look out for him as well. And also, even Perisic doesn't score much. He's usually a provider, someone that you could look out for too as well. In terms of Nottingham Forest, you have Brennan Johnson who could score for you, as well as Chris Wood and Andrea Ayew as well. All of those guys. Morgan Gibbs-White too, you have to look out for him as well as Janjo Shelby if he's available. I think he's got a red card if memory serves me correctly, and so therefore he might not be available. But my in-time goal score, I'm going to take my in-time goal score to be Richarlison, and so I'm going to take Richarlison at $2.40 to score at any given point in this particular game. Now our recap for Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. I'm expecting Tottenham to win this game at $1.44. Expecting both teams to score as well. Yeah, at $2.05. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score, and that's $2.80. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 3-1 victory here for Tottenham Hotspurs over Nottingham Forest, and that's $11. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Tottenham to win this one by a goal, and that's $2.15. Anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Richarlison, and that's $2.40 if he scores at any given point in this game at the current moment. Alright, now we're going to move on over to Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. And for Crystal Palace versus Manchester City, Crystal Palace, they have been having a lean time of it so far. Earlier in the season, they went to Manchester City, took the lead, and they almost, in my opinion, they should have beaten Manchester City on that day. But Manchester City managed to come back, and I think Manchester City ended up winning that game, if memory serves me correctly. I think they won it maybe 3-2 or 3-1. Yeah, I don't quite remember, but they did score first. Alright, as you can see, based on recent form, Crystal Palace, they have been awful. Manchester City, based on the head-to-head, they have won 3 of the last 5. So let's just jump straight into it. For this particular game, I'm expecting City to win. They're tracing the title, and so therefore, despite what is being said, don't win the Champions League, it's always good to win the league title. Alright, so I'm expecting City to win, both teams to score. In terms of double chance, I go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying City wins this 1-3-1. Might be 2-1, you never know. Alright, so on the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Manchester City to win by a goal. Anytime goal scorer is going to Crystal Palace first. Don't think Wilfried Zaha will be available. He might be. He was out on the injured list. Mateta, you have to look out for him as well as Eduardo. As also Eze. Hasn't been getting much time on the pitch of late, but I think he was struggling with an injury, but he should be back now. And so therefore he should get enough time on the pitch, as well as Jordan Ayew and Michael Elisa, Jeffrey Schlupp, forward back in the day. He has a tendency to score, so you have to look out for him as well. In terms of Manchester City now, anytime goal scorers, you have Erwin Haaland, you have Julian Alvarez, as well as Riyad Mahrez and Phil Foden. All of these guys that you have to put an asterisk beside an email because you never know how much time Pep is going to give them, and time affects whether you get the chance to score or not. For the most part, longer you're on the pitch, it's higher possibility of you scoring at any point. Also, you have to look out for Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan, but for me, my anytime goal scorer is going to be Julian Alvarez. So I'm taking Julian Alvarez to score at any given point in this game. And let's just give you a recap for Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. I'm expecting Manchester City to win this game at $1.36. I'm expecting both teams to score as well at $2.10. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying a 3-1 victory here for Manchester City over Crystal Palace, and that's $11 in terms of the odds, that is. On the handicap side of the football now, we're expecting Manchester City to win this one by a goal, and that's $2 if that does happen. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Julian Alvarez. Some of us would call him Julian Alvarez, but I call him Julian Alvarez because that's the correct pronunciation in Spanish. Right, and he's giving us $2.15 to score at any given point. So now we're going to move on from Crystal Palace versus Manchester City versus Fulham United versus Arsenal United. And for this particular game now, Arsenal are now in a position where they basically need to win all their games in order to keep City off their backs. And so therefore, for Fulham United versus Arsenal, I'm expecting this one to be very interesting. I think Arsenal are going to drop points here. So for me, I think it's going to be a draw or a win for Fulham. I'm going to go with a draw for this game though. Draw here, and I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of scoreline prediction, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here between Fulham and Arsenal. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a look at the list now. Now for Fulham, you have Alexander Mitrovic as well as Vinicius and Manor Salomon. He's been scoring a couple of late, as well as Bobby Reed, who goes for that guy as well, and as well as William. All right, Andreas Pereira as well is someone that you have to keep in mind. He could score for you as well too. Now for Arsenal, you have Gabriel Martinelli. Hasn't scored much of late, but you have to keep in mind as well as Leandro Trossard. Depending on the amount of time he gets on the pitch, he could score for you as well. Also, we have Saka. Saka is someone that you have to keep on your list as well as Martin Odegaard. Have to look out for him as well. But for me, my anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Alexander Mitrovic. He's overdue a goal. He hasn't scored in a while, and I'm expecting him to score in this particular game. Right. So recap now for Fulham United versus Arsenal United. I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. Then that's $4 if it happens. For the draw, that is. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. Correct scoreline prediction, I'm expecting a 1-1 draw here, and that's $7.50. Anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm expecting it to be Alexander Mitrovic at $3.20. Now we're going to move on from this game on to Manchester United versus Southampton. And now Southampton are in a spot of bother, and Manchester United, they have to be very mindful of that because Manchester United have a tendency to fall short against the lesser teams, and Southampton now is like a drowning man, and they are clutching at straws, and they could surprise Manchester United if they are not careful. And so for this particular game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Manchester United to win, but I'm not taking them to win by much. Both teams not to score. I'm expecting Manchester United to remain stout despite the 7-0 loss to Liverpool last game week. I'm expecting either team to win and both not to score. So I'm saying Manchester United wins this one 2-0. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a draw basis being Manchester United winning by a goal. So let's explore the anytime goal scorers now for this particular game. For Manchester United, you have the usual suspects, Marcus Rashford, and you have as well as Alejandro Garnacho, and you have Jadon Sancho. Depends on what time he comes and how much times he gets, and as well as Bruno Fernandes, and also Fred. You have to go for him as well. He could pop up and score for you too. Also, in terms of Southampton, now we have to give You have to look out for James Ward-Prowse as well as Shea Adams, and also you have to also keep in mind that Theo Walcott, he started a couple of games of late. Carlos Alcaraz might be out. He had a slight knee injury, and so he might be out for this game. But if he plays, he's someone that you have to keep in mind as well, who could score for you. But I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer from Manchester United, and I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Berghaus. He's overdue a goal. He's a great worker, but he just can't find the back of the net, and this might just be the game where he finds that goal that Manchester United will need against Southampton. Alright, so recap here now for Manchester United versus Southampton. I'm expecting Manchester United to win at $1.33. I'm expecting both teams not to score either. Also, and in terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Manchester United wins this one 2-0 over Southampton, and that's $6.50 if that should happen. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take a draw, basis being Manchester United winning by a goal. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Warghorse. I'm struggling to pronounce his name, that Dutch guy. I'm expecting him to score, and that's $2.40 if he does score, right? That's how the cookie crumbles for Manchester United versus Southampton. And now we're going to move on over to West Ham United versus Aston Villa. Both teams are in need of the points. West Ham United continue to do well in Europe, but they need to sort themselves out in the Premiership. And so therefore, West Ham, they'll be coming here gunning for a victory against Aston Villa, them being at home. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think they might end up losing here again or drawing. If you ask me. Danny Ings, they have acquired a good enough striker to provide them with some goals. Anthony, he's been having a very lean season. As you can see here, the last 5 games, West Ham have won them all. So that therefore means it's heavily stacked in favor of West Ham, but the farm chart says otherwise. This is anybody's game based on the farm chart. And so therefore, as a result, I think there's a strong possibility that this one will end in a draw. But I wouldn't be surprised if either of them win. Because as I said earlier, this is anybody's game. But for me, I'm going to go with a draw here between these two guys. And so I'm expecting both of them to score as well. In terms of correct scoreline, I'm going to take a 12 draw here. Let's just go ahead and explore the anytime goal scorers now, folks. For the anytime goal scorers now, we're going to look at Southampton players versus, of course, Danny Ings is at the top of the list, as well as Gianluca if he's back, and Michael Antonio as well. You have to look out for him too, as well as Saeed Benrahma. He can score for you as well, but he usually provides, as well as Gerard Bowen, overdue a couple of goals, and so therefore you have to look out for him as well as Lucas Paqueta. He has been popping up and scoring goals of late too, so you have to keep it in mind, as well as Manuel Lanzini. Another player that you have to look out for, and a guy that always tend to have a goal in him, Thomas Suchek. That's it for West Ham, players who could possibly score. Now for Aston Villa, you're going to look and you're going to see Ollie Watkins. He's someone that you have to bear in mind too. Keep in mind that Leon Bailey has been having a good last couple of weeks, and so therefore you have to keep him in mind as well as Emiliano Buendia, and also John McGinn and Douglas Luiz. Those are other guys who could pop up and score for you. But for me, my anytime goal scorer is going to be, I'm going to say my anytime goal scorer to be Danny Ings. Outside of Danny Ings, I would have gone with Gerard Bowen. But I'm going to take Danny Ings to score at any given point in this game at $2.90. And so therefore, let's just roll back and give you a quick recap here now for West Ham United versus Aston Villa. I'm expecting this game to end in a draw at $3.30. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. And in terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw here between West Ham United and Aston Villa. And in terms of anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Danny Ings from West Ham United to score at any given point in this game between West Ham and Aston Villa. Now let's move on to our next game, and our next game will be Newcastle United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now this is another interesting one. Wolverhampton Wanderers, usually a team that's tough to break down. They're getting back to that place where they are tough to break down, and so therefore it's not going to be easy for Newcastle United, and so it's going to be a challenging one for them. and so therefore they're going to have to ensure that they stay on point. Otherwise, it could be curtains for them, for Newcastle, that is. Oh, but based on what we're seeing here, as you see, the last 5, we've had 3 draws and 1 win apiece. So this is saying that we could have another draw here. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Newcastle should handle business here, and Wolverhampton, they're going to be tough to beat, but Newcastle should win. Both teams not to score, I say. And in terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. In terms of correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying Newcastle wins this one 2-0, otherwise 1-0, I do believe. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Newcastle to win this one by a goal, and then we're going to take a draw. Alright, so over on to our anytime goal scorer now. For Newcastle, you have Alexander Isak, who you have to look out for, as well as Callum Wilson and Miguel Almiron, as well as Alan Saint-Maximin. And also, you have to look out for Bruno Guimaraes, if he's fit and ready, that is, as well as Joe Willock. He hasn't been scoring much. Kieran Trippier, usually a good free kick taker, so he could score for you as well. On the Wolverhampton Wanderers side of the football now, anytime goal scorers, you have Raúl Jiménez as well as Ruben Neves, and also Mateus Cunha, if he please, as well as Pablo Sarabia, right? And also Pedro Neto, if he please. Adama Traore doesn't score much. He scored in the last game. He scored that one goal that they end up winning the game 1-0. So he doesn't score very often though, but he's someone who is a part of the attacking third, and you have to look out for him, right? But for me, my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer from Newcastle. I'm going to say my anytime goal scorer should be Miguel Almiron. For me, it's Miguel Almiron. And outside of that, you'd have to go with one of the strikers, either Callum Wilson or Alexander Isak for me. Alright, so recap for Newcastle United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm expecting Newcastle United win this one at $1.65. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying no, that should not be the case. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score, and that's $2.05. Correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying Newcastle wins this one 2-0 over Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that's $7 in terms of the odds. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take a draw basis, being Newcastle winning this game by a goal. Alright, now for my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Miguel Almiron, and that $2.70 score at any given point in this game here. Alright, now we're going to move on over to our other game, which is Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Now, these teams will be playing twice for this game weekend, so therefore you might be saying, hey, we have another Brighton and another Crystal Palace. They're playing again. Yes, that these teams will be playing twice for this game week, so therefore, as it relates to Brighton versus Crystal Palace, based on what Brighton has done at home so far this season, I'm expecting them to handle business here at home against Crystal Palace, but I wouldn't be surprised if Crystal Palace give them a challenge. They should give them a challenge. So therefore, I'm expecting Brighton to win, both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, I go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Brighton wins this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Brighton to win this one by a goal. Alright, so now we're going to, no, we don't have any anytime goal scorers here, so we're just going to have a skedaddle over that. So therefore, quick recap here for Brighton versus Crystal Palace. I'm expecting Brighton to win this one at $1.55. Expecting both teams to score as well at $1.95. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score, and that's $2.80. In terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 3-1 victory here for Brighton over Crystal Palace, and that's $12 in terms of the odds, that is. On the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Brighton to win this one by a goal, and that's $2.60. Alright, so that's how the cookie crumbles for Brighton versus Crystal Palace, and now we're going to move on over to Southampton United, who is playing for the second time during this game week. Also Brighton, playing for Brentford, that is, playing for the second time during the game week. So Southampton versus Brentford, and for Southampton versus Brentford, as you can see, the last 5 games here, we've had Brentford winning 3, Southampton with 1 victory, and the draw here. This game now, as you can see the farm charts, we've had 3 losses here on the side of Southampton, and we have 3 draws here on the side of Brentford. Brentford not losing. If they're not winning, they're drawing. So therefore, that means I'm expecting both teams to score here. And in terms of a winner, I would say that my winner for this game should be, I'm going to go with Southampton, them being at home in the position that they're in. They're going to be fighting. I think they will fight and fight and fight and fight, and they're going to fight and find their way on the winning side of this game here against Brentford. So both teams to score, Southampton to win. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying here we should have a 2-1 victory for Southampton over Brentford. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a draw based on my predicted scoreline. Right. So recap predictions for Southampton versus Brentford. I'm expecting Southampton to win at $2.75. Expecting both teams to score as well at $1.77. In terms of the double chats, I'll go with either team to win and both to score, and that's $2.75. In terms of my predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 2-1 victory here for Southampton over Brentford, and that's $10 in terms of the odds. On handicap system, I'll go ahead and I'll seek Southampton to win this one. Not the winner. Take Southampton. Take this one to end in a draw. Basis being Southampton winning by a goal, I should say. And that's $4.50 if that should happen. Now, for this year game week, this is how the cookie crumbles. We have all of 12 games for this year game week, so you can sit and rewatch the video and you can go through and pick out your favorite bets. And as usual, I thank you for joining me for another video. Thank you for watching, and as I say, great luck betting and have a profitable weekend. Good luck.